Welcome back, legends. In this video, we're going to teach you how to master the different buying stages and get people to make buying decisions faster using content, Instagram marketing, so that you can turn your content, your Instagram, your social media into a lead generating machine. This is a process that we've refined over years of testing and refinement. And now you're seeing kind of like right now, the finished product of this process essentially, and learning how to actually make each of these stages work so that you can get people to make those buying decisions. Because if we think about marketing in general, like a lot of people think it's, okay, cool, how do I get as many followers as possible? And it's not. It's
Go viral.
It's about how do you move somebody closer to buying? How do you take them through the different stages and thought processes that they need to go through psychologically to then make a natural buying decision?
Yeah.
Right. So we've got some stuff on the whiteboard. We'll pull that up and go through those.
Should we get straight into it?
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, what we've got here, and this is a great example of, think of it like a bit of a funnel in a way. Obviously, when we start, you're unknown. People don't know you. So I think this is where, by the way, PTs worry way too much about their audience and how many people they've got. Yeah. Like, when was the right time to start? To become known? To go from unknown to the next stage, being known, probably a year ago, or whenever you should have started. But start, because guys, once you become known, then people are going to be in your world. They're going to be in your ecosystem. They're going to be looking at your stuff. Now,
the big thing that I think a lot of people struggle with as well is that they'll have people in their world that have been following them for a long time, but they're not like actually buying.
Yes.
So, you know, you've got people that haven't yet built their audience, but then you've also got other people that have built their audience and people are not buying or they're not getting leads. And part of the reason is that they're stuck at one of these stages.
Yes, for sure.
Right. And so you want to move people down this as efficiently and quickly as possible so that it speeds up that buying process. But yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, you at least have to fucking start for people to go from not knowing you to knowing you.
Yeah, you've got to start. And then obviously, what do you want to be known for? Right? So it's going to come down to the type of content that you're putting out there. And obviously you want to you want people to resonate with you. So it needs to be authentic and you need to move people through a process. Obviously, the next stage of getting to the content, the people are going to be drawn to you because of you, your personality, what you're about, your energy, and the things that you talk about. And ultimately, help them. So help them move to the next step. So we want to show layers of depth in our content. Matt, I know you're going to go deeper into this in a bit. So we go to like, and over time, it builds trust. And there are so many people out there online. So you want to be someone you want people binging your stuff. So there's the high level kind of like problem solving stuff up here. And then as we get deeper into content, it shows more depth and character. And
yeah, giving people a chance to relate to you.
Exactly.
Right? And the easiest way, like we said in the Instagram reel, the easiest way to get people to like you is to show them that you're the kind of person they aspire to be like. So, for example, Kinobody is a great example of that. Kinobody, if you haven't checked him out, go and look him up on Instagram, Grego Gallagher. He's very good at marketing to his niche, which is guys in their 20s, because he has created this idealistic lifestyle that he portrays online. You know, he's got photos of him on a yacht with girls. He's shredded as fuck. He like has a great lifestyle. And so all of his marketing is essentially insinuating that you will become like me by doing the things that I do and by buying my stuff. And so you want to leverage that as well for that like section.
And what do young guys want?
Yeah,
they want to look fucking ripped and jacked and crushing it and having this fucking cool lifestyle.
And then that also then, like you said, leads into trust, because what that does is it proves that he has got the outcome already that he wants, that he is promising to deliver.
Yeah, here's the product.
Yeah. And then the next stage of that with trust is like the showing the proof that he's done it for however many other thousands of people.
Yeah.
Which is, that's the kind of progression you want to go through. And then lastly is the wanting, which just happens as a natural result, right?
Totally. Because you're sitting there going, I love this stuff. I love this stuff. That's why you binge it. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually did this on a podcast. I think you could find it. It's on Spotify. I believe it's actually on our YouTube channel as well.
Channel, probably one of the earliest videos that we did.
Yeah. And I send this a lot to people because I love them to understand that I think most PTs, especially if you're, I don't know, you want new leads or whatever, and if you've kind of seen stuff like PTs will put out they think that marketing is, imagine this being like a par 5 golf course, right? Like if we're here and we're thinking about like, okay, we're unknown or we're at the drive, we need to get out our driver.
Not even teed off yet.
And we need to hit it as far as we can towards the hole. The hole represents someone buying, right? If you're driving and using your driver, that is as far away as possible from someone wanting to buy, right? Like there's multiple shots that need to be taken down the fairway in order to get someone to the hole.
Yeah. The hardest thing to do is get somebody to hit a hole in one.
Yeah, well, but that's what PTs think marketing is, right?
They're trying to hit holes in one.
So they put out offers on their Instagram. Hey, I'm looking for 5 people that want to lose 5 kilos, and it's just boring. It's nothing.
They've not even teed off yet.
No, and they're randomly, inconsistently putting out content and not showing any value through this process, and then they just put out offers and wonder why they get crickets.
The other analogy we use is that they're trying to fuck on the first date, which is essentially trying to get a hole in one, right? It's like getting the ball from there to there in one shot is fucking hard.
You dirty fuckers, don't be, you understand what we're saying here, but we're not trying to fuck on the first date. No, 100%. You met someone at the bar, you weren't just going, hey, let's go home and fuck, right? Yeah. So think about these being the stages, right? Like we want to take out our clubs and we want to take our first shot, right? And we want to start going from known to unknown. You do that through consistent content, right? And then by taking these steps along the way, right, down here, we will, by taking shots, go from known to unknown to building trust over time. And this is why, guys, we say marketing is like, one thing, I take a very much an approach of this being something of living your values. You want to be doing this because this is your purpose, right? Because if most PTs, I got in the industry, I want to help people. Well, you're helping people. If you're getting 100, 200, 300 views, don't even worry about likes and whatever. You're building the skill, and how you build the skill and get better and better at getting more and more people to put their hand up is through the repetition, just like getting under the bar squatting. Yep. So if you want to get good at golf or marketing or growing your business, learn how to take more and more shots and get better and refine the skill and the technique, right? And you will get more and more sales.
You're obviously a lot more experienced in golf than I am. How much easier is it to take that shot from the green, the putt, than it is to drive it from the tee to get it in the hole with one shot?
Way harder. I think of this as a mindset as well. When you're playing golf, I think when you're young and you're dumb and you try to get the driver and you go, I need to fucking crush the driver 280 meters down the fairway. That's not the smart play. The smart play is learning how to hit as accurate as possible with the driver, knowing that you can rely on it not being out in the bushes and behind trees and whatever, right? You need to learn how to just have a refined technique and then work on getting down the field in as little as possible, which means not try and bet in it and overhit. Like most PTs think they've got to crush it in like with their posts. It's got to do well, right? But so that's why they put all this time into content, and there is ways to do it. And look, like we say there are heaps of posts on our YouTube if you want to go and look at how to create content or offers and all of these things to get that skill better. But one of the things that we want to do is just build this technique where we know, like, if we consistently show up doing this, we're not trying to hit a home run and go viral and have 1 million people look at our stuff, right? Yeah. We just want to take consistent shots.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we always say the job of marketing is to make sales superfluous. If you're taking a putt from 30 centimeters away from the hole, how much easier is it to get that person to buy on a call than it is, say, getting them on a call when you've just met them?
Matt, you have introduced me to this, and guys, the thing about marketing is when you never have to need or need a lead because you're consistently showing up, and sometimes you just don't want to necessarily like have more clients. Maybe you took a bit of a break over the holiday because you're consistent with the content components, and this is if the offer at the end is getting in the hole. Yeah. We don't necessarily have to put out offers all the time because we can be keeping our audience still warm, still super engaged. Yeah. And when we decide to put something out, you have shown me this. If you do this, you will have a level of celebrity and authority. People will literally want to buy your stuff because they're seeing you all the time.
Imagine as well that you've got like 50 or 100 balls on this one course. You're going to be worried about one going in?
Yeah. No. And this is why you never need. Do we want to
We'll
shift
switch
gears
gears
a little bit?
and walk through kind of like how this actually relates to the marketing process. You jump in that one.
Okay.
So yeah, like the how this actually relates to things, right? So let me show you this. So think about this is the golf course. It's just sideways. So taking people through each of these stages, I mean, you could go one to the next, but it might also be like a matter of this. Some people take longer to buy, right? So you might need to do that. We've had people do that. Andrew Gear.
Yeah, guys have been in
Yeah.
3 years sometimes before they finally bought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just understanding that the buying cycle does take time, but how do we speed that up, right? We want to go through this process. So this we call the client conversion flywheel. We call it a flywheel because these kind of diagrams here, let me go back. These diagrams here kind of create the assumption that it's linear when it's not. Some people buy faster than others, some people don't. And so the way that this needs to work is this kind of process across here. Let me change color. Undo, go back there. Technology, undo. So this process above here is kind of going from unknown to known, okay? I'll explain what these squares are in a second. This process here is where you're taking people through the rest of the stages. And the reason it's a flywheel is because somebody might take 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 repetitions before they actually buy. So we want to think about it like this. If we are taking somebody from unknown to known here, right? We want to look at the way that we do that. First, we look at boosting content. That assumes that you've got content that is good enough to boost already, right? Content is the, when you're not a super experienced advertiser and marketer, content is the best advertising that you can run. Because a lot of people, when they start running ads and they start learning how to write copy, like if they're nowhere near good enough for it to make financial sense in the numbers to run legitimate ads, because they just can't do it right yet. They don't have the skills
There's a
yet.
lot that goes into that process, yeah.
Yeah. So boosting content is a lot easier because content doesn't look like advertising. Content looks like value, and it builds a relationship with people. And again, people will pick up on whether you're trying to fuck them on the first date or not. So you want to boost some content to take people from essentially not following you to following you. So then we want to look at your IG.
This is how we're growing your audience, by the way, guys. So we're growing it, we're getting new followers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they go to your Instagram profile. The Instagram profile needs to be optimized to get people to follow you, right? Which is the next stage, right? So you've gone from somebody not knowing you over here to now knowing who you are. In order to get that process to work, the Instagram profile is the main thing, right? If they don't like the look of your profile, if you aren't showing them that you can help them get a certain outcome that they want, if you aren't likable, if all of those other little elements need to be kind of ticked off as well. And we have a whole kind of process for optimizing your Instagram profile that we teach our students. But you need to make sure that that is done really well so that when somebody comes to your profile, they see your name, they see your bio, which should be a really clear promise. They should be able to answer the questions in their head. Who is this for? Who do they help? What is the result that they can help me get? How do they solve my problems? And what's the process look like, right?
Yep.
So they're going to be able to answer those questions from your Instagram profile. So the bio, the name, the profile picture, the highlights, the pin posts, all of that stuff needs to be dialed in really, really well. That is what gets people to follow you. So similarly, if I was running an ad to a landing page and the landing page was shit, people wouldn't convert. They wouldn't buy or they wouldn't opt in. Same thing here. This is your landing page, okay? You want people to follow you, so you need to make sure it's optimized. Then once they follow you, they're in your ecosystem. They're in your flywheel. And the flywheel is what gets people closer to buying, right? The flywheel is essentially the golf course, right? So the tee off is this process up here. Then you want to start getting the ball as close to the hole as possible.
You want them clicking on your posts, looking at your reels,
Replying to stories, engaging with your shit, 100%.
Yeah.
And so the way we do that is this. First, we look at your short form content. Short form content is your reels, your carousels, your feed posts, that kind of thing. Then you want to look at stories, right? Your stories are what allow people to get a window into what your life looks like. The best way to treat your stories is like your own sitcom. You want to treat it like a TV series of sorts, like a mini vlog. You want to take people along on the journey that you are going on throughout your day. That allows them to build so they've gone from like unknowing to knowing. Short form takes them from knowing to liking. Short form and stories take people from knowing to liking. Then you've got your, I'm going to say long form / lead magnets. So this is where they get a little bit more from you, where they get a deeper experience of you. Something like long form content, like we're doing right here, obviously, or something like a lead magnet where they're getting an actual resource, whether it's a guide on,
Dude, I was looking this morning. You were talking about slow cooker recipes.
Yeah.
I've been following this guy's stuff forever, and I looked at his link. He's got a fucking a whole cookbook PDF thing.
Yep.
I'm like, I want to buy that. And then it was straight away. I looked at that. There's a double thing to upgrade it. I'm like,
he even had an opt-in on his website that was literally, hey, I'll send you a free recipe. Like,
yeah,
for somebody like that, he's not a PT, obviously, but
that's the small bite,
right? Yeah.
And then we've got the whole meal if you want the full thing.
Because you're giving people little steps, little additional commitments, little ways to get exposed to you more and more. And that's the whole idea, is we want people to be more and more exposed to you, and we want them binging your stuff. So rather than trying to, again, fuck them on the first date, we're trying to take them through each of these steps in a progression.
Yep.
So the long form / lead magnets are a great way to give them the next kind of progression from watching your short form and watching your stories.
Yeah, give them depth so they get to go from like to really trusting you.
Yeah, what's the next logical progression? And the reason this works really well for building trust is because, like, how many people have got testimonials? How many people have got transformations? How many people have got before and afters? Everybody fucking does. People are deconditioned.
It's actually getting faked a lot too.
Yeah,
a lot
of
fake
AI.
bullshit
It's
out there.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So this stuff, your long form and your lead magnets, give you a chance to demonstrate your expertise. Do you see what we're doing right now?
Because we do this.
We're demonstrating our expertise. Yeah. Demonstrated expertise is the best way to build trust and credibility with somebody. So if you can explain to them how the process works, if you can show them how to do it themselves, don't be afraid of giving them too much, because people, like, all the information's out there. You're not giving away anything. You've got no fucking trade secrets. Everything's already out on the internet. You're just making it easy for people, and you're showing them that you can help them get that outcome.
Yeah, save them time if they work with you, right?
People get the information for free, but they pay for implementation, right? So that's where your long form and lead magnets come in. Then you want to have offers. Offers are what do the next part of the process, which is taking them from trusting you to wanting you. So the offer is an invitation. Again, we've got a video on our channel on how to write offers in the right way, how to just write simple little 3 to 5 sentence offers, because most people overdo it and they sell themselves out of a lead because they sell too much, or they do too much, and it's just too much. So then you've got this ecosystem. So if you're posting consistent short form, consistent stories on a daily basis, long form content and lead magnets, and then offers, you create this flywheel effect that just spins and spins and spins, right? And so as people are exposed to you more and more and more, they become closer and closer to buying. And so rather than trying to fuck on the first date or hit a hole in one, we're just trying to get people into your ecosystem so that you can nurture them, right? Lead generation and lead nurturing are two different things. And most people are way too fixated on lead generation and nowhere near enough focused on lead nurturing. This is the lead nurturing process, and this is what feeds lead generation. You can't have lead generation without this stuff.
I'll say this from my experience, Matt. That was amazing, guys. I've probably since 2015 done close to 45,000 calls, and working with Matt, one of the things you find is the better your, like you say, the better your marketing is, it makes sales superfluous. What Matt means is, like, when you get someone and they've been watching your stuff and they've watched you over time and they've seen the depth that Matt just showed, then they jump onto a call just being like,
I've watched all your shit. How do I buy?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like you've already met the person. It's a great chat, and it's the type of, like, you all say, I just want better clients. That's the process.
They become bought into your knowledge, your expertise, your way of doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Thanks for joining us, guys. If you have any other kind of like questions or things that you need help with in terms of executing this process, whether it's like, how do you come up with the content to post? How do you come up with the offers to post? We've got heaps of videos on our YouTube channel. Just click below, have a little browse. You'll find some stuff that I'm sure is interesting and helpful. So thanks for being with us. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.